My name is Doug Grummins. Happy Thanksgiving to all you beautiful people out there. It's kind of a weird holiday that a lot of people enjoy, but it's a good time to get together and be thankful for what we have and share our blessings with everybody. So we're going to go and have lunch with some friends and enjoy those beautiful moments where we get to commune with other people and enjoy a day off, a day of rest. Um, Hopefully you guys are all doing well and uh, having a day off yourselves and being able to catch up on some rest and maybe eat some good food and all that good stuff. So anyway, so something's been bugging me for the last few days, and sometimes there's things happen to you that you just can't let sit still. And I entitled this talk "Why You Should Stay Away from Anities and Isms." Somebody put a post up on Facebook, and I see these posts every once in a while, and it just makes me shake my head. It's like, oh God. But anyway, um, they put a post up that said there's a Bible verse saying that good is evil, evil is good, and don't get the two confused and all that. But they also said that all these things like yoga or meditation or wellness or mindfulness or all these things of different things that different religions that they didn't understand um, were all the devil's doing, and Satan is trying to control you. uh, so I don't know. Um, I put a response to that friend, and I know you shouldn't go on friends' walls and say anything mean, so I didn't. I just put a response up that some people just prefer to live their lives on God's porch. Hmm. And uh, I also said that while believe it or not, the door to his house is always open, and you're always welcome to come in. But all these isms and these entities, they live on God's porch. All the Christianities, the isms, the Buddhisms, the Judaisms, all these isms, each one of them are saying the same darn things, that all the others are wrong and theirs is the only way that's right. So my best advice was to basically keep away from those entities and those isms when it comes to your own spirituality, to your own growth, to your development. I have personally gone down. Uh, I started off as a Christian. I'm almost just like everybody else. I started off as a young Christian, but my story was like this: is that around the time I um, met my second wife, Maria, and we were married for 20 years. So we had a beautiful friendship and a long engagement, and then when we got married. But when we got married, I had some dental work done, and I know this is going off subject a little bit, but just bear with me for a second. So I had this dental work done, and then I got married. But it seems like as soon as I got married, I started having all these health issues. My sleep was going less and less and less every single night, um, and I didn't understand it. I mean, it's okay when if you can still get a couple hours of sleep every night, you can deal with things. You get a little irritable and all that, but also it seemed like I couldn't eat a lot of things. It seems like everything I was eating was making me sick. But I was going downhill bad, and this was tumbling out of control. So for about 5 or 6 years, I I struggled with trying to understand what was causing my body to go wrong. And I tried everything. I tried acupuncture. I tried acupressure, Chinese herbal medicine, American doctors, every specialist that they could look at for my stomach, and they all came up with the same thing. They didn't know what was causing my body to basically dwindle away. I was probably down to maybe 150 pounds, and I'm 6'2", so that was very skinny. and my knees hurt so bad every day I could barely even walk. I mean, I'm 25 years old, 24, 25 years old, and you know, it just got so bad. And I prayed to God, and I prayed and prayed and prayed. I went to church, and I was a good little Christian boy, and everything just seemed to be getting worse. And I didn't understand it. So, like I said, I tried all these alternative things. And then a friend of mine that I studied Aikido with turned me on to meditation. Um, so I started meditating, and from that meditation, I started becoming aware and conscious of things, which didn't happen when you're just praying to God. Now, I'm not saying that prayer doesn't work or prayer didn't get me to that point. That's not the point. The point is maybe prayer brought me to meditation, but it was meditation that brought about awareness to help me realize that it was something I was eating, and something was going on with my body that I didn't understand. So I got my diet under control. Um, I did an elimination diet, and I got my diet under control, and I realized that corn products, and believe it or not, tap water was setting me off. Um, I would be completely exhausted from work and come home and take a shower, then I'd be wired, and you know, I wouldn't be able to sleep all night. So my body became so sensitive to certain things that uh, I just got, uh, like I said, so sensitive that um, it stopped me from sleeping. It stopped me from eating. But I figured it out through meditation, because meditation brought about awareness. And through, like I said, through the elimination diet, we figured out, you know, that it was corn products. But man, there's corn in everything: mannitol, sorbitol, maltodextrin, cornstarch, corn syrup, corn. America went corn crazy. So anyway, um, meditation brought about awareness, but it also brought about much more. Uh, it it helped me to become empty in a way, but empty in the sense that when you're ill, you don't know what health is, right? Uh, if all you've ever known is illness, then you can't describe what health is to somebody else. So when you become healthy, you get rid of the illness. And empty-mindedness or emptiness basically is giving your body space to be healthy. You create a space so that healthiness can come in and take over and make you whole and make you happy again. So that was kind of like the what brought me into Eastern thought, and becoming a meditation instructor, and becoming the person I am today, just this great surfing Buddha type fellow. But I didn't follow any isms, and I didn't follow any entities. All I did was I practiced awareness, and I meditated. Um, and I'm not saying that all the isms and entities are terribly wrong or terribly bad things. That, don't mistake me for my words for that either. Um, it's just that there are no super highways to get to God. And these isms and entities have seemed like they've paved the path for you to get to God, but you get as close as his porch, but you never get into the house. Not through any of the entities. Not saying that every once in a while a Christian realizes, but when they realize something like that, they've gone above their entities or their isms, and they've dropped those things and realized that wholeness comes from awareness. It comes from understanding. It comes from being open and receptive to new and other things. And this whole thing about, you know, Satan's playground, or all these things that are said to be evil. These are said by ignorant people that have never dove into any of those things. Yoga was even listed as, you know, something that was controlled by Satan. And yoga just means uh, to bring together, to make whole again. Um, to yoke is to bring something together, and yoke and yoga come from the same roots. And it's crazy what people will say when they just don't understand things or they're afraid of things. And that there's a lot at stake too, because if they believe what they believe to be true, and everything else is evil or the Satan's workshop, then they live in fear, and they're controlled by fear. And fear is not the doorway to God. That is not the way to approach God. Um, Being receptive and open and courageous and brave and understanding. These are the things that will bring you and draw you closer to God, to godliness, or to God. Um, I know I'm ranting and raving, but it just gets to me that people say the stupidest things because they don't understand. They say these things about things they've never um, even tried to approach, or never even uh, thought about. They just blindly believe what they're told, and it's just, I don't know, it's just stupid. But anyway, I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm not here to try to convert anybody into any annies or isms or anything like that. Um, but I am a witness to uh, the fact that you can become whole by not following any anities or any isms, just by praying and meditating and practicing awareness. And I know these things sound like Eastern thought or Buddhist thought, but meditation doesn't belong to any religion or any sect or any region of the world. Meditation is for everyone. Everybody can have a moment of silence. And many of you do this when you're surfing, or if you're out running or something. You get into a zone where the mind can become still. And when the mind is still and you are not, when you are not is when the whole takes over. That's why runners feel this like great high when they're running, because when 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 uh, when you're not thinking, basically, when you create a space for the whole, then the whole comes in and fills you with bliss and love. And many surfers feel this thing, same thing, and when they go out surfing. But anyway, it is Thanksgiving, and I won't keep you guys too long. I just wanted to rant and rave about that little post. I'm not going to go on to anybody else's wall and try to say, hey, this is wrong, this is right. But if you take a few moments to listen to what I'm saying, maybe, just maybe, you can get a start, and find courage like I did when I was 20, 25 years old. And like I said, meditation brought about health. It brought me back to health, through awareness. And um, and it's not like I'm dogging Christianity to say that, hey, Christianity didn't do anything for me, but it wasn't doing anything for my health. And all these people are praying and praying and praying that something will change and something will happen, but they never uh, dive into meditation and dive into awareness to uh, give God a way to figure out, hey, let's just put on the brakes. Let's just chill here and work together and figure out what's wrong with you. So, give yourself, if you're ill and you don't know why, if you're having sleeping problems and you don't know why, then practice meditation. Bring meditation into your daily life. And I think what happened, how I first figured out that corn was doing it was because, like I said, I did the elimination diet, and then I love cornbread. I mean, just absolutely love cornbread. And um, anytime I ate cornbread directly, that night when I tried to meditate, my mind was all fuzzy. I couldn't meditate. I couldn't uh, dissolve into no thought. It just did something to my mind. It made me all fuzzy and blurry. And it's hard to think when you're like when something like that happens to you. So so I like I said, I realized it was corn, then I cut out the corn products. But believe it or not, corn is even in your toothpaste. And like I said, I would come home and brush my teeth and before bed and be wired, completely wired. But I noticed that it was like 8 hours later, my I could calm down and get a little bit of sleep. But usually that's when we're, you know, those 8 hours are when we're resting so that we can get up in the morning and go to work the next day. So yeah, I mean, there were days and nights where I just couldn't figure it out, and it's just driving me crazy. But luckily, I did figure it out, and it made me uh, calm and relaxed. And it took time to realize that, you know, all these things that were creating these sensitivities in me, and how to address them. So now I've addressed them, and I live pretty much almost a completely normal life, pretty much. And I've experienced so many beautiful and wonderful things because I've become open to um, being receptive to the energies that are out there. And it's cool and all to be totally receptive, but also there are people out there that can try to rob your energy, energy vampires, narcissists, people that are they're out there, and they um, can they don't, it can't damage you, but it can drain you of your energy if you let these people do these things. So when I say be open and be receptive, there's also a point where you become aware of that of what this person's doing, and the sooner you recognize it, the better. And then you can stop the person and redirect the conversation in another way, or just say, hey, look, you know, I know you got all this going on, and all these things are bad, but we can address, you can help this person understand that, you know, through awareness and through meditation, things won't always be bad, because no storm lasts forever. No storm lasts forever, and eventually even the worst storm passes by, and then the skies will be blue again. And I said, that's what happened to me. The skies became blue again. And now I have this awareness, and I understand that life has its difficulties, and not only difficult, things can be trying, and things can be, you know, really hard to deal with. The loss of other people, the loss of friends. I know we're practicing Thanksgiving with some friends who actually her husband just recently passed away, so this is the first Thanksgiving she's had without her husband around. And I know things are difficult, and like I said, if you guys are true set in your anities and your isms, that's up to you. That's your choice. That's your prerogative, and I'm not dogging that. Some people need these anities or these isms, and they feel like they can't live without them. I'm not saying I'm living with or without them. I have basically just come to an understanding that each of us as an individual has a different path, and as many individuals as there are, as many paths are there that there are towards reaching the divine. Um, but I'm just sharing what's worked with me, and I hope that someday, hopefully, this message might get to you guys and help you uh, become whole. And um, even Buddha had said that there are no there's no pathway laid out with footprints to godliness. It's more like Buddha said that it's more like birds flying in the sky. They leave no trace as to how they got from point A to point B. And I guess the truth in that is that thousands and millions of people that followed Buddha at the time, um, they they don't listen to exactly what the teacher's saying. Um, like you might say, be meditative. Um, and they will take that as meaning go out and meditate. So you go out and meditate, and you're looking for healthiness, you're looking for happiness, you're looking for sorrow to end, you're looking for guidance, you're looking for all these other things, but that's not being meditative. So you mistake what the teacher says, and that happens a lot. That's happened in every religion. And what happens, like I said, people are afraid of a Buddha when he's alive. People were afraid of Jesus when he was alive because they were dangerous. Um, Dangerous in the sense that they could destroy everything you think is right. Because, like I said, that you in a sense don't have eyes until you come home and um, realize the whole. Um, when you've come back to, I say, come back to the Garden of Eden. We were kicked out of the Garden of Eden by eating an apple or something, and I make a joke all the time. I say, "Hey, why don't you practice awareness and basically give Satan back that apple, shove it down his throat and see how he likes it for a little while, and just be receptive and open to what God has to offer. What I said, this welcoming back to Eden." Because basically, I mean, people don't know this. People maybe think I'm crazy for even saying it, but Eden never went anywhere, and God never went anywhere. Even Jesus said that God is right here, heaven is right here, but people don't understand that because they can't see and they can't experience it. And in fact, it seems like hell. And if it seems like hell, then how could heaven be right there too? But the truth is they're both there. If you're, let's say, diving into these isms and these anities, and you're not realizing the whole, you haven't experienced this welcoming back to the Garden of Eden, then it's time to step back and take a breath and realize what's going on. Um, Not to, like I said, not to say that there isn't beautiful things in each one of these paths that are laid out, because Buddha said a lot of words. He preached for like 40 years after he was enlightened. Jesus was around for about 3 years with his teachings before he was murdered. Um, and in those 3 years, he said some beautiful things. But people, like I said, um, I don't think anybody wrote anything down right away. In fact, it said that the scriptures were just passed by word of mouth to word of mouth from person to person for about 50 years. And then after about 50 years, they said, "Hey, I think we need to write some of this stuff down. It's pretty important." But a lot of misinterpretations happen. I mean, like I said, I say be meditative, and you take that to be doing something when it really means being aware and being open and just being conscious and having a place of no mind, a place where the mind can be still. And I'm not saying be ignorant and not have no thought. Thought is beautiful, and thought helps you throughout your whole lives. But thought can only get you to God's porch. from from that point on, like I said, you're welcome to come into God's house. The door is open, and it's just a matter of you being able to pass through that door. And nobody can, I mean, Jesus might open the door for you, but you got to walk through. You have to find the courage to walk through. And I know they say that you can't experience godliness until you won't know God until you're dead. And there's a little bit of truth to that, and but it's only half true, because a part of you dies, a part of you dissolves into nothingness, but you don't need that part anymore. When you grow spiritually, you have to let go of the ego. So that's what dies. The ego dies, and then you can walk through the door. But the ego is so big that, like Jesus said about the camel fitting through the eye of a needle, the ego is so big that you can't pass through something that delicate and that small. So if you get rid of the ego, you can pass through the eye of the needle very easily. Like you just said, you have to lose yourself before you can become whole. Before you will know yourself, you'll have to lose yourselves. And that's the meaning of that, is that you have to let go of this. You have to dissolve and become basically a nothing. And then you can fit through the eye of the needle, go into the door of heaven. And it's kind of an awkward thing to say meet God, because in a sense, when you meet God, you are not. But when I say you are not, that doesn't mean you don't exist. It's just that you become a vessel, open and clean and empty, and ready to receive the divine messages and the divineness of godliness to enter you. I know that's some deep stuff and crazy talk, and I don't know what y'all think of me, but I feel as long as people are out there spreading ignorance on posts saying that, you know, we're the only thing that's divine, or our path is the only way to God, they need to be put in their place. At least somebody needs to stand up and say something. And like I said, each one of these anities and these isms can be like a bead on a necklace. And there is the essence of God running through the beads, the string that holds everything together, all these beads together, is godliness, and it's God itself. But unless you realize godliness in your anity or in your ism, in that bead itself, then it's fruitless, it's pointless. It doesn't get you reunited with the holy essence that is all of us, that is everything that exists. And there's, like I said, there's so many different paths. I've studied, gosh, I don't know how many hundreds of different paths, and come to the realization that each one can get you there, but you got to know the secret. And the secret basically is that you have to have consciousness, you have to have awareness, you have to be receptive. And like I said, it's cool to be receptive and all that. And I've discussed with you a little bit about how to deal with people and still be able to be receptive. It's most important. If the glass is turned upside down, you can't pour any water in it. You can keep pouring. God can keep pouring His essence all over your glass, and you won't receive any of it. But if you turn the glass right side up, yeah, and fill it with tea or fill it with godliness, and then don't be afraid to drink it up. Swallow it whole, and then become empty again. All these gifts and all this blissfulness and all this beautiful things that you receive from God, or you receive from your emptiness, that only way to keep that flowing to receive more is to become empty again, and let the keep emptying the glass so it can be filled again. And that's kind of the way I go about living my life, is just being open and receptive and empty. But the emptiness is not nothingness. The emptiness creates space for the whole, for the essence of godliness to fill you. I guess we'll leave it at that. Pretty deep talk. Thanks for listening to me, and I hope you guys take care of yourselves, and happy Thanksgiving, and hopefully we'll all get together soon and go surfing and have a good time, or go skydiving, and enjoy life, and enjoy your families and enjoy your loved ones today, and God bless and mahalos to all you beautiful surfers out there. Aloha and adios and goodbye and blue skies to all you skydivers. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.